Queen Elizabeth learnt of her accession after the death of her father, King George V I, when she was visiting Kenya with Prince Philip in 1952. Such visits celebrate friendships as Kenya, with whom Britain has a defence agreement, marks 60 years of independence. Interest will centre on what King Charles says about allegations of atrocities committed when the British authorities fought the Mau Mau uprising in Kenya, during the emergency period, in the 1950s. An apology could only be issued by the government, but the King will undoubtedly express regret at this dark period in colonial history. The role of the British monarch as head of the Commonwealth, which is not automatic, may be questioned more in the future. The King was chosen by acclamation and it remains likely that Prince William will succeed him. He has commissioned a study to examine the royal family's links with the transatlantic slave trade, which is due to report in September 2026. At the CHOGM, Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, in Kigali last year, he expressed his personal sorrow over this toxic issue. More will undoubtedly be asked for, though the matter of reparations is deeply complex. This issue overshadowed the tour to the Caribbean of the Prince and Princess of Wales in 2022. The Commonwealth is a voluntary association of 56 independent countries, which also include 4 who were not former British colonies, who represent 1/3 of the world's population. To those who question whether a hereditary former colonial power is a suitable head, it is necessary to stress that Britain has the world's most high-profile monarchy, and this gives the Commonwealth a certain cachet. The legacy of colonialism is primarily one of exploitation, but there are also the benefits of the English language, parliamentary democracy and the rule of law. It would be ridiculous to have a rotating headship, as many of the member states have a highly questionable record when it comes to human rights. Imagine Sri Lanka or the Gambia in this role. It would be a farce. The only alternative, since the organization obviously needs a headship, would be to have the Secretary-General at its head, and he or she is restricted to 2 terms. The current occupant, Baroness Scotland, is an example of why this would be an appalling idea. Her term was recently extended, but reportedly only after a close vote. Allegations of corruption have tainted her term in office. In any case, no bureaucrat could possibly have the appeal of a monarch. The British monarchy had a far more contemporary feel to it after Prince Harry married Meghan Markle, an American divorcee of mixed race. He was made president and she was vice president of the Queen's Commonwealth Trust. After they stood down as senior working royals, the documentary for Netflix, Harry and Meghan, contained references to the Commonwealth which were derogatory and were clearly a betrayal of the trust the Queen placed in them. However, had they remained in post, they would undoubtedly have had considerable appeal. 14 Commonwealth countries currently have King Charles as head of state. Barbados became a republic in 2021, but, significantly, it had no referendum. The debacle of the 1999 referendum in Australia haunts Republicans. There have also been polls in Tuvalu and St. Vincent and the Grenadines where a republic was rejected. The palace has always stressed that this issue is one for each country to decide for itself. Although many are little known, enormous value is attached to the over 80 organizations with links to the Commonwealth. The most recent members are Francophone countries, and this illustrates France's declining global influence. There is, however, a question mark over the venue for the Commonwealth Games, which boosts its profile, in 2026. Critics of the Commonwealth point to the frequent abuses of the declarations of human rights which underpin its charter. There has, for example, just been a military coup in Gabon which only joined last year. Experience the Express like never before. Advert-free experience without interruptions. Rocket fast speedy loading pages. Exclusive unlimited access to all our content. Start 30-day free trial. There is no common foreign policy, no police force or military muscle to enforce its ideals. However, several countries, including Fiji, Nigeria and Pakistan, have been suspended in past years. Zimbabwe left under the repressive rule of Robert Mugabe, though it has applied to rejoin. Ireland withdrew in 1949. South Africa withdrew in 1961 owing to opposition to its infamous policy of apartheid. Since it is an organization which prides itself on promoting human rights, its record of upholding LGBTQ rights is appalling. In 31 of its 56 members, homosexuality is a crime. There is also its refusal to establish a monitor of human rights abuses as recommended by its eminent rights group in 2011. Sadly, it was rejected. However, its members have 2.4 billion inhabitants, over 90% are in Africa and Asia and more than half are young. Potentially it has, despite numerous internal differences, an important role to play on the world stage. The issue of the environment is so significant for all our futures. The late Queen launched the Queen's Commonwealth canopy to help protect the world's forests. King Charles's environmental campaigning for over half a century and Prince William's Earthshot Prize are excellent examples of royal initiatives in this area which the organization is championing. This an increasingly dangerous world, but the diversity which the Commonwealth possesses makes it very special. The annual Christmas message from its head gives it unity. Queen Elizabeth perfected this, and the organization is part of her remarkable legacy, which King Charles undoubtedly will continue with pride.